Why, hello there. It's your girl Aleese Lightyear and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, hi, hello, how you doing? My name is Aleese and I am a 30-something-year-old expat who has been living and sometimes thriving here in China. And I think a lot of my regular viewers are the type who are interested in Chinese culture, interested in traveling, or people who are just curious about China and what life is like in China. And thanks to YouTube analytics, I know the majority of you guys are American, just like me. Today, my friends, we are talking about some of the deep cultural, just flat out differences between China and the US that most YouTubers who make videos about China don't talk about. You know, when we see those videos from some creators that are like 5 reasons why China is different from America. Convenience. Everything's done on your phone. They have great public transportation. Cost of living is lower. Language barrier. Like, yeah, duh. We know all of those things. We want to hear the nitty gritty. We want the tea to be spilled. So, I am here to spill. You know, I pride myself and my channel on being authentic. I am not pro-America, I am not pro-China, I am pro wherever I am happy and at peace. And right now that just happens to be the country of America. But I have also been happy and at peace right at home in my country of the USA. I just want to share my thoughts and experiences and point out some of the lesser thought of or considered differences between the two countries as someone who has been a lovely guest and contributor to the economy for the past 6 years and have noticed some things. So let's get into it. Okay, so we'll start with the big one, the most obvious, which is the language. In China, people speak Chinese. In America, people speak English. If you were moving or traveling to the US, I would assume that you could speak some English, or when you got there, you would be taking English classes. So it's fair for one to assume the exact same thing about China, right? I've been living here for 6 years, and yes, I do take Chinese classes, and yes, I do speak a decent level of Chinese. So for everyday situations and conversations, my Chinese is good. But for the first time in a long time, I am actually actively trying to improve. And if I'm being honest, I'm a terrible student. I don't like homework. I don't like memorizing characters, or I don't like to look at Chinese in a book. I don't really like to take notes, but what I do like to do is sit on my couch and watch TV. The issue is just watching Chinese TV doesn't magically make you fluent, just like living here and hearing Chinese all day doesn't just instantly absorb in my mind. You still end up relying on translation, subtitles, missing keywords, and by the end of the episode, you've basically learned nothing or created your own story in your mind, which isn't the exact plot of the show. And that's when I started using LingoPie. Let me show you. It's like Netflix, but for language learning. You get access to loads of Chinese dramas, movies, and even podcasts. But here's the difference. The subtitles, they're interactive. So if I don't know a word, I just click it. LingoPie instantly shows me the translation, saves it as a flashcard, and I can review it later without ever leaving my show. Plus, I could use LingoPie on the go, whether I'm sitting right here on the couch watching TV or using it on my laptop or phone, making it easy to use whenever and wherever you may go. Right now, LingoPie has been the only thing keeping me consistent without feeling like I'm studying. Plus, because the content is authentic, I get to pick up idioms and slang and tone and expression that I wouldn't just learn in a textbook or even in my Chinese class. Lingo Pi has over 3,000 shows in 13 languages, including Chinese, Spanish, Japanese, and so many more. Click the link in my description below to get a free 7-day trial and a 55% off a yearly plan. If you're lazy just like me, but you still want to learn, Lingo Pi is the most fun way to do it. Thank you so much to Lingo Pi for sponsoring this video. Make sure you guys click that link in the description to check it out, and let's get back to the list. So another one of the more obvious differences is the beauty standards. What is considered beautiful in China is long legs, white skin, long black hair, big eyes, like a V-shaped, like a V-shaped face, very thin, like thigh gap is definitely like 4 inches, and arms are skinnier than my wrist. That is a beauty standard in China. I see it all over the Chinese reality shows that I love to watch. I hear it from my students who are 90 pounds but like on a diet, trying to lose 20 more pounds. I see it with men, I see it with women, I see it when I go to the grocery store. It's a big country, there's a lot of people, and a lot of people really try hard to meet a very specific beauty standard.
哇！看看我这个肚子，直接大了一大圈。挑战7天瘦7斤，挑战100天瘦30斤。我真的太想瘦了，姐妹们。
Chinese internet is no stranger to skinny enough challenges.
我可以锁骨上放硬币，能放很多个。
There was the collarbone coin challenge.
厉害呀！
And the A4 waist challenge.
反手摸肚脐。
As well as the belly button challenge.
成人试穿小码优衣库童装照，引发广大网友关注。
The children's section at Uniqlo China also made headlines, as adult women flocked to the brand's fitting rooms to snap selfies trying on kids' clothes. Being thin has always been a cultural beauty standard for Chinese women, but now it's become amplified across social media.
And one thing that is not really considered desirable, I guess, is body diversity. You just don't see a lot of Chinese girls with big old titties and big old fat asses and wide hips. You just don't. And that's nothing against Chinese girls. I think Chinese girls are gorgeous. I mean, as a teacher specifically, all of my experience is teaching high school and adults. I can't tell you the amount of students, male and female, who are not fat or overweight or have more than like 5% body fat tell me that they need to lose weight. Tell me that their parents have told them that they need to lose weight, or their friends have told them that they need to lose weight.
Nora, this year you can lose weight, become thinner and more rich. Why someone wish like this for you? I think you're beautiful the way you are.
There are loads of Chinese influencers and celebrities who speak out against this, and I think this is something that is very much a controversial thing. Because moving right along, the next one is in China, the amount of businesses that disappear and are never to be heard from again, and you never get your money back from the VIP membership that you bought there once they disappeared. And then in less than 48 hours, there's just like a whole new business there. And you're just like, how'd that happen so fast? My neighborhood here in Chengdu is like such a good example. I've been living here almost 2 years, you guys, in this neighborhood. And in those 2 years, the store literally right next to my community. It started off as an eyeglass shop, and then it went out of business. Within 3 days, it was a fruit market. That fruit market closed in less than a week. And then the next day, the very next day, they were doing a full-on construction revamp of the whole inside of the store, and it turned into a noodle restaurant. We will see how long it lasts. I don't get how quickly things can just sprout up and disappear in China. I don't know how they're getting all the mandates and the permits and all the employees and stuff hired fast enough. It is impressive. It's very impressive. The United States of America could never, the amount of places that go out of business in the US and then just stay empty. How many of y'all right now still got an empty Blockbuster in a strip mall that's been empty for 5 years that becomes a Spirit Halloween once a year, and then it's empty the other 10 months out of the year? But in China, a lot of men and women don't shave their private areas. It's also very common for women to not shave their armpits, their legs, their snail trails. You may be wondering, Aleese, how do you know if women are shaving their kitty cats or not? Well, I have been to the pool, the beach, the hot springs, the spas many of times, and in the locker rooms, it is very normal for women to get completely naked and bathe before they get into the pool, or shower before they get into the pool. It's also pretty normal for women to use the sauna in the women's locker room nude, or get a massage nude. So I've seen a lot of nude Chinese women. That's just the reality of being a human being who goes into a locker room. You just see other human beings naked. And it's very much a judgment-free zone. But as a foreigner, I'm always being looked at, so it doesn't make me feel very comfortable. But that's not what we're talking about. Look, it's personal preference. In America, we're shaving our armpits the minute puberty hits, and waxing our legs, and then once you start having schmecks, then wax, 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 wax. You're going to get a Brazilian every 6 weeks. Here in China, girls ain't about that, and I have so much respect for that. I appreciate that, like, there's no shame or embarrassment about that, but it is a lot to see at times, From what I've learned, I think a lot of women have been told by doctors that it's unhealthy to shave or wax the hair off of your body, and that it's a natural thing and just let it be natural, which I 100% agree with. Body hair is a natural thing, and no one should feel embarrassed or shamed to have it. And I think that is one thing that I wish the US was definitely a lot more progressive on. Social media culture and selfie culture, TikTok, Xiaohongshu, all of social media culture in China is out of control, crazy compared to the US. In America, I'd say that a pretty large percentage of people are pretty embarrassed and or insecure about having photo shoots, having excessive photo shoots in public crowded places, taking a bunch of selfies over and over, vlogging or live streaming in public places. But here in China, all of that stuff is so normalized. No one looks twice as someone with a tripod and a camera doing a TikTok dance in front of McDonald's. No one looks twice at a girl live streaming in the mall. No one cares that there are 7 aunties dressed in matching red dresses doing a very curated pose. Like, that doesn't matter. There is zero shame in that.
The photo shoot culture here is insane. I'm pretty sure that 1 out of 3 tourists that I saw were dressed up, decked out, and having their photo taken. This is like what people come here to do. I was racking my brain trying to think of like an American equivalent, and I just can't. So if you can think of an equivalent to this in your country, then drop it in the comments below.
Just everyone is at a Mariah Carey level diva with the photo shoots, and it is shocking, and it is really unlike anything that you would see in the US. I know that the Gen Zs all over the world use their phones for everything and don't care about doing TikTok dances in the middle of a crowded mall, but in China you see it so much that after a while you don't even see it anymore because it's nonstop, it's constant. People in China are just laid back about it because everyone in China has a phone and everyone is on their phone at all times. I mean, these days I can't even get in a taxi without my taxi driver having one phone for the taxi map app and another phone just to scroll TikTok as he's driving. Everybody's on TikTok. Great grandmas are on TikToks and making TikToks on a regular. So this next difference is just random, but you really don't see police cars in China, especially on the street pulling like bad drivers over or ticketing people. You just don't see that. As an American, you're just used to seeing police cars all the time. I mean, chances are you've been pulled over for speeding or running a red light or something, right? But in China, police use cameras to enforce, the driving laws. And through the cameras, the police are able to track and take photos of bad drivers that break the rules, that break the laws, and then they send them a ticket via WeChat or Alipay or some national text message system or some mobile way. I don't know because I've never gotten a ticket because I don't have a car. So that is just something strange, especially on the highway. Like, you witness so many terrible drivers, you witness accidents, and to just never ever see a police car pull them over, as an American, it's just a weird thing to see. And you kind of notice it like right away, like, wait, where are all the cop cars? How come no one is pulling over this bus that just ran 3 red lights? The use and the promotion of eco-friendly materials in the US has definitely led to a generation of Americans who are a lot more educated about living a more sustainable life. I think the Chinese government has done a really great job at lowering pollution levels and promoting EV vehicles in China. But I wouldn't say the message about reducing the use of plastics has really been promoted well in China, because the amount of plastic waste that one person goes through just in a day in China is insane. There is plastic everywhere. I mean, and because the population is so huge, and because there are just so many stores, so many restaurants that do takeout, it's just the waste piles up so much faster and quicker. It's very common for apartment complexes, for apartment communities to hire staff to come and to sort through the trash and pick out the recyclable materials from just the overall garbage. In general in China, there really is an overuse of plastics. If you are ordering takeout, you know, it comes in a plastic bag, in a plastic container that maybe has plastic cling wrap. Like if you ordered a soup or a noodle dish, maybe in between the lid and the bowl, there's plastic wrap. And then sometimes that soup is wrapped inside of 2 other plastic bags in a bigger plastic bag. And it's just a lot of plastic. And if you order 3 takeout meals in a day, that's like 40 pieces of plastic. It's just a lot. So this plastic overload might be the most offensive. So this is a pack of toilet paper. I've used the majority of it, but it's got 2 rolls left. And, you know, it's just a normal square pack with the handle, right? You should be able to pull it out and feel the toilet paper on your fingers. But no, this toilet paper is wrapped in plastic. So it's plastic wrap and the toilet paper wrap. And this had like 8 rolls in it or something. I don't get it. I remember living in Beijing a few years ago. It had, I think, the city's first zero waste store, which sold things like those beeswax wraps, bamboo utensils, glass containers, and lots of other kind of plastic-free essentials. And within the time that I lived in Beijing and the time I left Beijing, that store had opened and then went out of business because it just wasn't making any money. Okay, so we have come to the end of the video. I've told you all of my random little differences that don't get talked about or discussed on the internet enough, in my opinion. Again, these are my opinions based on my experience living here through my Black American perspective. I want to end this video saying one thing that the US and China have in common that I don't think Americans know or think of, and that is that there are fat Chinese people. There's a lot of them. In fact, China is currently going through an obesity crisis. Obesity rates are higher than they have ever been when this country, you know, was facing famine 7 decades ago. Now it is the complete opposite. I think from what I've heard on the news and what I've read, obesity rates have risen so quickly in China because of the rapid urbanization and growth of these mega cities.
Urbanization and economic development. Right? We know that rapid urbanization leads to more sedentary lifestyle in the cities. Rising incomes enables greater food and consumption and dining out. And also, economic growth has transformed China from dealing with undernourishment to obesity in just a few decades. We're seeing essentially a shift from traditional diets to Western style foods high in sugar and fat, and this could be viewed as the problem with the rapid economic development and modernization.
In October 2024, China's National Health Commission reported an increasing morbidity rate among obese and overweight people. In 2020, the commission released a report saying half of Chinese adults were overweight or obese. The NHC predicts that percentage will rise to over 65% by 2030. China is not the only country struggling with obesity. Among developed countries, a dozen reported that more than half of their population over the age of 15 was overweight or obese. Topping that list from 2022 was the US, where about 2/3 describe themselves as being overweight or obese.
China has McDonald's, China has KFC, China has its own brand of fast food restaurants that are high in over-processed food and sugar and all of those things. Just like the backs in America are getting bigger, the backs in China is getting real big too. Okay, that's it. That's all I gotta say. I hope you enjoyed this video about the lesser known differences between the two countries. But anyway, I'm just being me, and that's the only way I know how to be, and I'm just making content that I would want to watch before I went to China. You know, when I was moving to China and doing my research in 2018, videos like this didn't exist. Drop me a like, a comment, share this video with someone who you think will enjoy it, post it on your social media, yada yada yada, all up the things. It is 10 p.m. and it's time for me to take all this makeup off and go to bed. So, thank you so much for watching. You know what it is. Aleese, Lightyear, over.